3 match points. Second serve, I mean, he's been winning over 70% of his second serve points, I think, and really should be able to get this done. Obviously, does it with a cannon forehand as well, as Jiri Lehecka plays one of these like second serve returns with a block that he's played a few times in this match. I don't think they worked out most of the time. Carlos, because it's 3 match points, just slams the forehand for a winner. And yeah, 6-4, 6-2, 6-4. What else can you say? Getting into a slam semi-final without dropping a set, is that a first for Carlos? I'd have to go back and check, but it very well could be. It's certainly a big contrast to what he's done this year at Wimbledon and Roland Garros, right? Where he was like leaking sets left and right. And typically we're just more used to Carlos being just a little less focused, less disciplined version of his game. And this tournament so far, I mean, he's just sinnering, right? He's just been pretty absurd with how much of a machine he's been. I know that this is maybe a pretty easy draw for him in general so far, but Opelka round one and today, very dangerous opponents. We wouldn't expect him to drop sets against like Rinderknecht, Bellucci, Darderi, probably not, but against Opelka round one, like that's a deadly draw. Against Lehecka here in the quarters, I think that a 4-set match was the expectation probably. But yeah, Lehecka falling behind that early break in the first 2 sets definitely didn't help because it just never felt like he can just hang around and wait for Alcaraz's level to drop. Sometimes he was doing a better job at hanging around, sometimes worse, but there was no like silver lining. There was no potential dip that you can look forward to, which is something that the opponents very often have against Alcaraz, right? They're just thinking, okay, if I keep him on the court long enough, there's going to be a 15-minute patch where he's just, I don't know, wild. And not today at all. The third set, I guess, was the best from Lehecka because at least he was holding. He kept himself on the scoreboard, even though he was under pressure almost every game. But it was still a very, very strong performance. I just don't think it was a match that at any point felt close whatsoever. Sean is very right. I mean, that we are not used to this straight set Alcaraz, but he's doing it right now. And before we head back, before we close out the stream, I will obviously also get to your comments now. Can I assume that you prefer watching Alcaraz over Sinner, but appreciate Sinner as a player too? I mean, it would be impossible to not appreciate. It would be impossible to not appreciate Yannick as a player, as a person, I guess as well. But I don't necessarily like watching him too much. Yeah, I think Alcaraz is the most fun of the top players because he is wild, right? Because he is more unconventional, because he has every shot in the book, because he has so much fun on the court, and because he kind of also pushes that fun onto you. He goes for the special shot sometimes instead of the correct one, right? And even though today, like for example, even though this was a clean win for him and there was never like any doubt as to who was going to come out as the winner, who was the better player and everything, you could still see that fun, right? He still had that enthusiasm. He still had a number of magical shots. I think if I'm watching a Sinner Lehecka match and it's different, like it's exactly the same match, I think it's much more boring to watch. At least for me, Playstyles obviously they're very subjective in terms of like what you enjoy. But yeah, I think Alcaraz is the most interesting top player to watch right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, how high would you rate the average highlights I asked you to check out on replay or Challenger TV? Depends. I mean, sometimes there's something insane. Let's just say 6. Typically, like I know what you were going for. 6 is fine. I think. I don't know if I ever watched Matej Votel in singles. I don't think he ever had a singles career. I mean, in college probably. I imagine he played singles at least a bit, but no idea. Topo definitely can get back on the train. I mean, he's not quite as good, but he still should be doing better than he is right now. Goffin loss. Oh yeah, Miami. Yeah, I guess Carlos is trying to reach his like 8th final in a row or something like that. And since then, he's only been losing to. Well, I mean, he's only lost once. Is that true? Wait, what? He's only lost once since he won Monte Carlo. He won Rome. Oh, he lost to Rune in the Barcelona final as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. So yeah, Rune and Sinner he's only lost to in the last 8 events he's played. Yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus. I mean, I just don't think anything is improvable in his game. I don't see what exactly like is the room to grow. I think he's just gonna be exactly the same as he is right now for most of his career. He also has a one-hander. I mean, if you want me to say switch to a two-hander, I think it might be a bit too late. The lower top 10 is just not reliable enough nor competitive if they get to the round four quarters and meet Yannick Carlos. I don't know if they're not reliable enough. I think they're pretty reliable in how they look against these guys. I just don't think they're good enough to compete. It's pretty rare to have like this kind of a spread. Who is Sergio Garcia? I mean, they were showing this guy a lot, but I have no idea who he is. You can ask for sure. Alcaraz on world number one possibility. Okay, yeah. I mean, there is a like very direct battle, right? Basically, Alcaraz has to do better than, or Yannick has to do better than Carlos to retain number one. When Sinner first came on tour, people continued to talk about the easy power he had, right? And what point did he kind of turn to efficiency? I can't remember that moment at all. It's 100% that, yeah. I mean, Sinner, when he came onto the tour, everybody was talking about how he accelerates through the ball of both wings, but especially of the forehand, I guess, despite having that kind of a very lanky physique, I suppose. Like, you wouldn't have guessed it based on how his arms looked, for example, but the pace he was getting on the ball, it was insane, and he was a lot more risky as a player. Yes. When did he turn to efficiency? I think it's Cahill and Vanozzi, like that kind of work, right? Maybe 2022 and onwards, 2023 especially. Um, he did become a very different player. Yeah, I think slightly from my point of view, at least, slightly less appealing to watch, but definitely the right thing to do for his career, as right now he's almost unbeatable. Uh, how did Jack Sock win a Masters 1000? I mean, he was pretty insane towards the end of the year 2017. Check out his ATP Finals performances. He kept it up. And Paris 1000 in 2017 was also weak. I mean, he played Julien Beneteau in the semis, who was having a miracle farewell run. Filip Krajinovic in the final. But yeah, he kept it up. ATP Finals, he was incredible. What area of Poland is known for having the largest ultra-nationalist population? Uh, it's tough to say. I would say probably southeast. Typically, east and south is where you have the more traditional conservative crowd, and then west and north is where you're going to have more, yeah, liberals, I suppose you can call that. Uh, it goes with the lines of like, well, you can also look at the Vistula. So like right bank would be the more traditional, left bank would be the, I don't know, let's say fresher mindset. And then also you can look at just how the country was split when it wasn't on the map between 1795 and 1918. The part that was under Russia is the more traditional one, and the part that was under, well, Prussia at the time, I guess, but Germany is the one that is more liberal. But yeah, in terms of like the largest, the most nationalistic Catholic crowd, that would be either um, northeast, so Podlasie, or southeast in Podkarpacie. These are probably the most rural and the most, well, also some of the poorest, but yeah, some of the most rural, some of the most poorest areas in Poland, and also that is where the most traditionalistic and yeah, most conservative crowd live. Who is on the Yala stream? I have no idea, but I'm assuming it could be our CEO. CEO who is hopefully better than the one that stole a cup from the child at Kamil Majkrzak's match. Thank you, Gerald, as well, for watching. Thank you to everybody who watched. I will not be on any other stream today, but it looks like I might be on the Anisimowa Świątek one tomorrow. So make sure to tune into anything we pull out on the channel. I mean, you have to give me a list of who you still have hope for, Keen, and then I maybe will tell you who you should still have it. Anyway, who should still have it for? Anyway, Carlos Alcaraz into the semifinals, first men's singles player to do it. He will play either Taylor Fritz or Novak Djokovic. The favorite in either match, but there are question marks. Maybe it will be the first much tougher encounter of the tournament for him. Obviously, with Novak, he's kind of had issues performing against him, and clearly the matchup gets him nervous, at least since Cincinnati 2023. Taylor almost took him to 5 sets at Wimbledon. There is some degree, at least, of interest in these matches potentially, and they will, of course, play later today. For now, he looks as good or at least as consistent as ever, Carlos Alcaraz. So, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, thank you to everybody who showed up. Thank you to, I don't know who else I'm thanking, actually. No, I'm just thanking you guys. Or I can thank the producer as well, who made it a bit easier to talk to you guys today here. Thankfully, our quick maneuver with with resetting my connection worked out fine. And yeah, thank you to everybody once more. And just keep watching Talking Tennis content, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.